New study finding that Zepbound weight loss is not effective as in real life as it is in clinical trials. Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. We're doing our Countess on the Park series, but at the beach today. We're in the Outer Banks. A new study came out, which, as you guys know, I will cite my sources down in the description link below, citing the source in a new obesity journal, talking about why real life is different varying than the clinical trials. And the punchline of it is two major factors. And we're going to go in and talk in today's episode about solutions for those major factors too, to how to best set you up for success. From my experience, strength, and hope, I've been on GLP-1 medication for over 2 years. And what the study found was, first, people were not on GLP-1 medications long enough to see the results in which they saw in clinical trials for Zepbound, WEGOVY, TIRZEPATIDE, SEMAGLUTIDE. That was number one. And number two, the second meaningful piece was that people were not on high enough doses, that with their doses, that they did not get to a highest point on them, which I've talked about previously. I used to say, oh, stay on the lowest dose as long as possible. No, it's actually in terms of the studies, if you go to clinical trials, and of course, always talking to your healthcare provider. This is never medical advice, simply my own experience, strength, and hope. But what they found was doses, I'm on Zepbound 15 milligrams, for example, and have been for over the last year. It has been a major difference for me of being on 6 months of Zepbound 12.5 milligrams versus being on Zepbound 15 milligrams for me. Now, obesity is a very wide spectrum and a very wide hoop to jump through. And so keeping that in mind that there is different doses for different people. But what this study found is people were not on high enough doses. That was one of the reasons why the weight loss varied so much. Now, the part that I want to go into and talk about, though, is that teeter-totter I always talk about balancing weight loss versus balancing the side effects that come with being on higher doses. Can you handle the gastrointestinal side effects that happen? Diarrhea, constipation, the most common ones, diarrhea, constipation, nausea, or vomiting. Can you handle those? And that with different doses in the clinical trials, we did find that people really did struggle with those. It made it substantially harder, and we need to focus. I'll use my statements. I need to focus in on long-term sustainable weight loss. And for me, the framework in which I have is that this takes longer. I'm going to do it for my obesity management, for my blood panels, for my health. I'm going to have it take longer. But I want to encourage you, knowing in and walking, if you're looking at those studies, that can be some mind effery with it. It can make some mindset challenges for you if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not losing as much weight as this clinical trial. Well, a new study came out showing that people are not in real life situations, But I want you to take back your power. I want you to reclaim back your control with your obesity management. If you're on semaglutide, tirzepatide, Zepbound, Wegovy, and I'm going to lump in my diabetic brothers and sisters, type 2 diabetes, Mounjaro, and Ozempic as well. Before I dive into more data, I always want to let's go to the study. Let's see if the study's reputable. Is this fake Wugazi news, or is it actually really reputable news that we can pull from? This study's actually from the Cleveland Clinic, and when I was on the Oprah show with the Shame, Blame, and Weight Loss Revolution in March of 2023, I was with a doctor, one of the obesity specialists in the country, I would say, if you're dare to say in the world, from the Cleveland Clinic. And they are some of the leading, and you should look at Cleveland Clinic stuff because it's brilliant. They're one of the industry leaders in terms of obesity care, obesity management, and the data arc that we need to know with obesity. So this study came from there. They had over 7,881 adults within this study. This study was done between 2001 and 2021 and 2000. There's a big crab behind me that was scaring me, and so I just want to make sure he wasn't there anymore. He's gone. The study was done between 2021 through 2023. Some of the things I don't like about the study is the age factor. The average age was around 50, 51, and 80% of the tested population, which was in Ohio and Florida, 80% was white. Now, we know, as I've done on other studies, having intentionally, I don't like that part, we need to have an inclusion of what the actual population is, which is diverse. Woohoo! And so with that, there's less than 20% of people who are not white. And that is not indicative of what's happening in the GLP-1 community. GLP-1 community is diverse with that. So always got to note some of the skewed parts of these studies so we can take this data and really analyze it for ourselves with that too, because that does come with different things. For example, there was a whole study done on Asian population with GLP-1 medication. You can check out my playlist and click like and subscribe to go ahead if you want to see that video talking more about that study, specifically about Asian population with GLP-1 But I found that that was interesting for this particular study in which we're talking about real world life, not meeting those same data as clinical trials. Because here's the punchline also. Coming from somebody who's had obesity for decades, been on my first diet since elementary school, having that, just that something's wrong with me feeling that I've really worked very hard to move away from, having that, oh, hello, you. Seeing the clinical trial data and being like, I'm not measuring up. I'm not hitting these numbers. People are ahead of me. Can lead down this old pathway, which is why I go back to, and what I really want to encourage, sustainable lifestyle changes. Making lifestyle changes that are sustainable long-term for us within our obesity care, within our obesity management. And so I want to encourage you with some of these things too. Put your blinders on. Let's take the data, but also let's run our own race. Let's not look left. Let's not look right. Let's get our own self-validation with that. And for me, that has taken actually therapy to help with that. Substantial therapy to help, in addition to having a dietitian, having a trainer, having this, I call the Avengers a team assemble. And you don't have to pay for these things. They can be free here on YouTube. There can be a lot of free resources that you can have your own Avengers team, myself included, with that as well. So going back over to the study, this is very important. Clinical trial data of it, 6,109 approximately, around that ballpark, was on semaglutide Wegovy. It was on Wegovy. The other 1,700 plus was on Zepbound, which is TIRZEPATIDE. So to make sure we're giving context in terms of that, we know though, because of the studies done between Zepbound and Wegovy, Zepbound has always outperformed as TIRZEPATIDE as a GLP-1 versus a GIP. I have said, and I need to correct in my videos, a mistake, because I do always correct when I have to and require and demand of myself to be factually accurate. I have said in previous videos, it's been 3 or 4, I think, and forgive me because I had previously recorded the videos, GIP-1, there's no such thing, it's GIP. There's GLP-1 and GIP. So please forgive me on that. I was saying GLP-1 for Wegovy and GLP-1 and GIP for Zepbound. So to make sure I'm factually accurate, clearing that up, it is GIP, not GIP-1. In this study, majority of people were taking Wegovy, which we know they're going to have less results, but they were comparing that off of Wegovy's results. But if you are on Wegovy, you're not having as much success as you would like, of course, talking to your healthcare provider about titrating up, or switching over to Zepbound. But we know financially for a lot of people that if your health insurance does not cover Zepbound, or if you are part of the PBM with that Caremark change, they're not giving any Zepbound, not any, but they've changed massively their policy with Caremark, with the PBM, CVS PBM, of not giving Zepbound. Are there some exclusions to this? I think some people have, in my free encouragement group, which I'll link down below, but the majority of people now having been forced to make that change. So keeping that in mind in terms of the data, Zepbound, TIRZEPATIDE, is still king in terms of results versus Wegovy too. Within this study, people didn't make it, 51% of people made it to year 1. That is one of the reasons why I say, think about before taking the medications of how to make this long-term and sustainable. Many of you have gotten off of GLP-1 medication by choice or because of insurance or for financial reasons, and I'm not judging by any means, no judgment, no shade, no judgment at all. I have chosen, and that has been incredible, and I know that's not a choice for everybody, to continue over, it's almost 2.5 years now, to be on GLP-1 medication. And what I really, as somebody who has experience, strength, and hope of being one of the early adapters, is making permanent lifestyle changes. And Eli Lilly tells us in the literature, those come from 2 things. 1, we've got to change our food and our eating habits. And 2, we've got to also change our physical activity. Hello, hens, I'm on the beach. I bike down here. After this video, I'm going to go walk on the beach. We've been swimming, we've been biking. Of course, I weight train. Weight training is one of the best things that you can do in terms of that muscle mass loss that we do have from weight loss, not just GLP-1 weight loss, but significant weight loss in general. And as we get older, to protect our bones, you don't want to sneeze and break a hip, so that weight training, how important that is. One of my favorite things that I have used since the beginning, over 2.5 years now, is LMNT electrolytes. Now, I brought with me to the beach because I'm obsessed. I love having their cans because it's so cold. LMNT electrolytes are electrolytes. They have potassium, magnesium, and sodium included in there. I love it cold. You can see how cold it is. Perfect. It's going to be my delicious treat. Let's see if I can pop her open here while we're on the beach. Hear that snap, crackle, pop, hopefully. It's absolutely delicious. Excuse me, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. but having this because of the magnesium, potassium, and sodium. It is salty because obviously talk to your healthcare provider, but we do need salt. We do need salt. And I am obsessed with taking LMNT. I had used it at the beginning for my Zepbound side effects and continue to use it for after weight training before I go to the gym. It's been very, very helpful in me making these permanent lifestyle changes as I go through my daily routine and as I continue to work out. Now, LMNT has been incredibly generous to the Countess of Shopping. Down in the description link below, you can click and get your free sticks with LMNT electrolytes with any purchase down in the description link below. But I love their sparkling electrolyte cans. But the sticks are also very much here at the beach with my whole family. My dad said his favorites were the lemonade and also orange flavor. You can get whatever ones you wish down below. So it got too hot out on the beach and I want to come back and give you the facts from the study. So there was several different things. Medication and daily life stopped after the first 12 months. 51% of those using TIRZEPATIDE, which is Zepbound and Mounjaro, discontinued its use. 51% of those using TIRZEPATIDE drug, Zepbound, Mounjaro, discontinued its use in that same time. This compared to only 17% of semaglutide users, which is WEGOVY and Ozempic, between 14% and 16% of TIRZEPATIDE users in clinical trials who quit during the first year. In addition, the weight reduction, the average weight reduction for semaglutide participants, which is WEGOVY and Ozempic, in daily life was nearly 8% after 1 year, while it was 12% for TIRZEPATIDE, Zepbound, Mounjaro users. By comparison, the average weight loss in clinical trials was nearly 15%. So we had 15% for semaglutide in those clinical trials versus in real life, 8%. So is that not close to like 50? Like that is a massive, like half, right? That is a big variation, as well as 15% of people on low dose TIRZEPATIDE and 20% of those on higher dose of TIRZEPATIDE, right? So after 1 year, for me, how long I was on Zepbound, at that point, I'm trying to remember back. Yeah, I think I had just gone up to Zepbound 12.5 milligrams at that point and was on for 6. Am I remembering that correctly? It was at least Zepbound 10 milligrams, which is a higher dose because it goes Zepbound 2.5, 5 milligrams, 7.5 milligrams, 10 milligrams. So it was at least 10 milligrams off the top of my head at that point. In general, from back to the study, weight loss was greater in people who took the weight loss medications for longer periods of time. This is why talking about with changes with the compound laws and with medications and things like that, with insurance, can really affect your findings. Now, so many of you, there's so many in my free encouragement group, which by the way, our group is not on Facebook, is moving off of Facebook because Facebook is closing GLP-1 Facebook groups, which is why the Count and I have created our own. It's called Circles. It's our private beta group. It's linked on countessofshopping.com/group. Totally free. My gift to you. The Count and I have invested over $1,000 of our own money with it. Within that, many people who are not on GLP-1 medication anymore, but they want the free recipes. They want the news stories. They want the encouragements. They want the daily challenges. They want all the free stuff that I've got included in there. It's an awesome group and it's free. With that, going back over to weight loss was greater for people who took longer periods of time, which makes sense, that clocks. In addition, 54% of people who had pre-diabetes at the start of their treatment plan either improved their healthier A1C levels after 1 year. About 3% of those studies progressed to type 2 diabetes after 12 months. So the long-term use of these medications is more effective than short use. Is a bariatric surgeon, surgeon who's the director of Memorial Care Surgical. I'll link it in the study down below. Anyways, was going on and talking about that adherence to medication schedules as well as diet and exercise program isn't easy in real life. And because they don't have supervision and support, people get in clinical trials. Now, if Cloakey's still watching this, Cloakey had said this a long time ago. Cloakey said this, I don't know, I think even 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Cloakey corrected me so I'm factually accurate. But Cloakey was the one who brought this to my attention. He's like, Elizabeth, in these clinical trials, you have this village around you, which you may not have in real life. You would have the support of a dietitian and probably something with that. I don't know if that's a personal trainer, I'm inferring that, but surely they're giving you exact, and within this, there are some bookends that you may not have, which is why I encourage you to daily watch my show so you can have that mindset. It's like taking a shower every day. For me, I'll use my own experience, strength, and hope of I need this shower, quote, to continue to maintain the mindset that comes along with weight loss journey. GLP-1s are amazing. It's a miracle for me, truly. And it is a miracle drug for me, truly, but it's still a tool. I still have to do the work. I still have to put in, like, I'm sweating so badly right now from biking back from the beach. Later on today, I'm going to go swimming and I'm going to go walking and I'm going to go biking again. All of these things, this is my third summer being on GLP-1 medication, is because the commitment to making lifestyle changes. Because if I do have to get off this medication, I want to know how to continue to do these things, but staying on, which is not my intention. My intention is to be on probably for the rest of my life, God willing, with the information that I have now. But I have to work those lifestyle changes with that too, because here's what, with obesity, I know that I am GLP-1 deficient. I know that there's a deficiency very clearly within, for me, the first 24 hours of taking Mounjaro. And if you don't know my story, don't get confused. I was on Mounjaro and then Zepbound and TIRZEPATIDE compound because of the shortages. I'm now on Zepbound 15 milligrams, brand name, and have been for over a year. With that, taking that first TIRZEPATIDE injection, I felt it. I was like, oh, the food noise stopped. GLP-1, the food chatter, the food, like it really, all of the things that I had been trying to work on with a therapist and all of these things to do, I could not do to maximum ability because of a GLP-1 deficiency. And now that I have that deficiency, and again, I'm not scientific, so I'm not saying this is like scientific, but that's my experience. It matters in these changes in what you're making. The June 10th study in obesity is the name of the journal, talks about factors positively associated with achieving at least 10% weight reduction at the 1 year included non-discontinuation of obesity, pharmacological therapy, and late discontinuation of tirzepatide versus semaglutide, and high dosage medication and female sex, because it was more women. So with this, staying on longer and higher doses, but being on higher doses, it didn't go into this, I don't think. I was looking and I didn't. Being on higher dose can come with more side effects. I would love for you to go check out LMNT electrolytes in the link down in the description link below and get your sticks of electrolytes as well. I highly recommend. They've been so helpful for me with having magnesium, potassium, and sodium. I love their flavors. You can get the canned sparkling electrolytes or the packets, the stick packets. I love them. I love them, and have been on them for over the last 2+ years, because I will cite, of course, my source down below. Also, my free group will be cited down below for you too as a free resources as well. And countessofshopping.com, your blog spot for all things GLP-1. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings, because life is delicious. Today's emoji of the day, because I do emojis of the day to get to know you better because I care, is going to be sunshine. I was going to put ocean, but the YouTube algorithm does not like water emojis. It thinks it's something else, nefarious. Did I say that right? Nefarious? So let's do sunshine. So sunshine is our emoji of the day that tells me you made it this far in the video. And it's my bat signal to get to know you better because I care. And I will also pray over you if you don't believe in prayer, uplift you in positive thought. I love you guys so super much. What are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? My big thing is I'm moving and grooving today, and I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to have so much movement. And I'm going to go hop in the pool now because I'm so sweaty, Betty. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.